Yo, dog, I heard you like scroll wheels. I'm out at Free Geek Twin Cities, and this thing came in. It's actually pretty unique. As the label on the front says, it's called the XMac Mini Server. This was manufactured by a company called Sonnet Technologies. They go way back when it comes to producing Mac accessories and kind of esoteric upgrade parts. But this thing, you probably kind of already guessed what this thing is based on its name. But this thing goes a step further in that if you look at the back, all right, so it's got pass-throughs for USB and HDMI and network, and there's a power input, and obviously you can rack mount the whole thing. But check this out. It's got Thunderbolt pass-throughs, and that's a fiber channel card. And there's another breakout for a PCIe slot. So you pop the lid on this thing, and this is solid metal too. So yeah, there's the Mac Mini. This is a 2012 Mac Mini that you just kind of stuff in there, and it's got power cables and all the other cables to pass through from the back into the machine itself. But the power inlet also breaks out, goes over to this power supply to power a Thunderbolt to PCIe bridge. And the idea was you could just stuff whatever kind of upgrade cards you want in here. So they've got a fiber channel card for external storage. And then on this side, you've got a x16 PCIe slot. So if you wanted, you could stick some kind of low powered like GPU in here and run it as an eGPU that the Mac would pick up. It is a little bit jank with the cabling for that, because I think this was an optional extra you could get, because you've got a Thunderbolt cable that goes into the port on the back of the Mini and then breaks out the back of the case and then plugs in to the bridge board. And then there's another Thunderbolt port on the back, so if you need external access, you want to plug in another one, there's like a Thunderbolt switch built into this bridge board, it looks like. But I haven't seen that before. I've seen rack cases for Mac Minis just to make them convenient to put in a server rack, but where this one gives you the optional expandability with PCIe cards, that's pretty neat. So here's one of those like institutional use combo cassette deck CD player things. I think you'd most often see these like in schools. Maybe like your music teacher or whatever would have this. On the front, there's a headphone jack plus a mic input. And there's, like, I believe, a speaker built into the top. And then on the bottom, let's see what kind of date we're looking at. Yeah, 2000. That sounds about right. I don't remember these from school, but I'm sure maybe some of you do. So yeah, this is interesting. It's a pair of laptop drives inside a 5 1/4 bracket that fits in a single desktop case drive bay. You can see the top one is just a DVD reader and a CD burner. The bottom one is also a DVD burner. So I guess you can get like the ultimate in disk duplication going on. And it's got like a regular IDE cable hanging off here, a custom little short one to have both drives just hang off the same bus. I'm not sure if this is the sort of thing that would have sold as a part for just a regular desktop PC, or if this would have come out as some sort of strange like disk duplicator device. If you've got any idea, let me know. But yeah, laptop parts inside desktops, it's been tried before to various levels of success, but this is probably one of the most unique ways I've seen it done. I think there might be something wrong with this computer. So you might be familiar with like CD changer home components like this, right? This one holds 200 CDs. I had one back in the early 2000s that held 100, but check this out. Have you ever seen a shelf stereo system with a big CD changer built into it? This one holds 60 discs. I've seen some that can do like 3 or 5 CDs, like, oh, I don't know, this one right next to it that has a 3-disc changer in it. Pretty good price, $15 for that. It includes a cassette deck. But yeah, this one you can load 60 CDs into the shelf system. I have never seen that before. This iMac DV came in, but, well, I got looking at it and some stuff doesn't look quite right. There's this like extra wiring going on in here, and what looks like a fan and some kind of dodgy, it's like, did they use speaker wire for some of this? And I get looking closer and they installed RGB LED tape inside this. Now, the machine doesn't power on, and I kind of am not surprised, because who knows what they did to tap into some of this, but I mean, the fan kind of makes sense because these did run a little hot, but interesting, they only fastened it with one screw from the backside. But the wire splicing situation is very suspect. So this is interesting. Unfortunately, the handset is missing, but I've got an idea as to what this product does. Looks like a regular phone, and on the back, there's a line jack for the phone line and an Ethernet port. So this is a network-enabled device. Along the side, you've also got connectors for like headphones and headset sort of thing. But what's interesting is it's got a screen. But if you look close, there's no cutout for a camera, and there's no place to plug in a camera into this device. Based on the name called the CapTel, and the fact there's a button down here that says captions, my guess is that this is for someone who's perhaps hard of hearing, but can still speak. I think the idea would be, and if you know about this device, let me know down in the comments, but my educated guess, having done no research, is you can maybe subscribe to a service where when you place a phone call, a third-party operator would listen in, and whatever the other person says, they would transcribe out, and it would like appear as text on the screen. That's the most logical explanation that I can think of, and actually a pretty neat way to do it. Dell Dimension 4400. I had a very similar machine to this. I had a 4500, and they only want $50 for it. Pentium 4, 80 gig. You know, looks pretty decent. But mine didn't also include the giant subwoofer that's bigger than the computer. Yeah, it's like they've got a whole surround sound setup thing going with it. It's all together, this bundle, for $50. That subwoofer is enormous. At first glance, it's a regular PowerBook 170, but look closer and it's got a very interesting third-party mod. A video out adapter has been added. Apple didn't include built-in video out on these earliest PowerBooks. Like, you look on the back panel and there is neither a connector nor even really a spot for one, right? That's the optional modem, SCSI, serial, and ADB and all that. So yeah, third parties came up with ways to tap into the internal video. You got a new little hinge cover, and then they just stuck a standard Mac monitor video out on the corner there. Looks like a bottle of ketchup, but it's a telephone. It's the ketchup phone. Just hooks up to a normal phone line, you know. But yeah, you hold it up to your head and you talk into it. There's the speaker and the mouthpiece down there, and not much more to, talk about other than it's a phone. There's a little button, this little button down on the bottom, I guess, lets it know when you're on or off hook. So you set it down and pick it up when it rings to answer, I guess. Why anyone would want this beats me. But yeah, that's a thing. Catch it. Oh, I screwed up the joke at the end.